Hey, this is Notser, and we're taking a look at Sleeping Giant. It's the map that was introduced in 7.1. I wanted to show off my Tier 9. I'm almost at the Tier 10 for the Pan Asians. This is Chung. We're capturing B Point, and I want to just talk my way through this map because I've been getting a lot of it recently. Maybe to coincide with the Year of the Dog, or maybe it's just have a higher play rate because it's a brand new map and they want to see if it holds up to balancing. I don't know, but I want to help anyone and learn from anyone who knows more about this map because I think it's important that we share our knowledge with others. I do not try and hide this stuff, and that's my goal. So we captured B Point. If I run into something like that, Baltimore in the top right corner, you might see there, it's just north of C Point. I was gonna bail, and I tried to give myself as much distance as I could to that target. Obviously, there's a Bismarck, and he's moving to the center of the map, which is incredibly dangerous. I sent my torpedoes, hoping that he doesn't react or use hydroacoustic. Very dangerous for him. And it doesn't look like he is reacting. In fact, it looks like he's going to sail directly into all of my lovely torpedoes. Oh, they're lovely. Oh, love them. Completely devastate that battleship. Now, while that was going on, a friendly destroyer died on the western side of A Point. And I popped my smoke because I didn't want to be seen. And I am considering entering A Point, but I want a little bit more knowledge. And sure enough, we get knowledge of an enemy DD. So I'm calling my teammate. There's a DD right behind me. I'm like, let's rush these guys. Take them out. They're not going to get a lot of assist. Their friendlies are behind islands. This A Point is uniquely dangerous. It will bait you into a scenario where you will die. And I highly discourage players to box themselves in going to A Point like so many I've seen do. Take out one DD, gonna transition to the other DD. Friendlies take that one out. And we're going to capture A Point. A Point is just insanely dangerous. You have really, really tight choke points that any and everyone can take advantage of. I would definitely discourage you from going in there unless you are a masterclass at whatever type you happen to bring. I don't think there's an advantage or a disadvantage depending on the type, you know, a cruiser, a battleship, or a destroyer. I think every single one is incredibly vulnerable. But obviously, most of the time, a DD is going to be in position to take objectives because that's what DDs do. They play for the team. And I was trying to get damage on the target while I was capturing. So far, it's working out pretty good. Eastern side, not so much. I have another game. I might share it. It's like a 5-minute game. Basically, I take my Gurosakua first. I go up the east side. There's that nice little island chain that sort of goes arrowing in to Sea Point, and the north spawn has it as well. You can use it to line of sight block, and you get up close, you wipe out the enemies. It's easy. I think by far Sea Point, if you win Sea Point, you win the map. It's so wide open that getting good position on the enemy should turn into a win. But a lot of times Sea Point is very dangerous for cruisers or for anyone who, you know, they want to play it slow. They don't want to actually go for the objective. There is 4 islands all around Sea Point or inside Sea Point. So DDs aren't really as effective as they would like with torpedoes. So it's sort of everyone just hangs out nearby. But we took trying to take this Algerie down. There's also an enemy battleship. I'm openly firing because I know the rest of the enemy team is on the other flank. Looking back on this, I probably should have gone to the other flank. You know, obviously I'm contributing, but how much am I really contributing? Doing a little bit of damage to a cruiser. I could be killing another battleship. Speaking of battleships, I sent a torpedo. He clearly sees me. He clearly is not going to fall for anything like that. So I'm just going to pull back. So Sleeping Giant, enemy has a great defense around the island chains. Very dangerous, incredibly dangerous. And they have radar. So I'm over here going, okay, what could I do? I'm probably going to make the wrong mistake. The wrong mistake. When's a right mistake? I'm probably going to make a mistake by going too close to them. And I'm just not respecting the advantage that the enemy team has in their position. C point gives you power over B point. It even gives you power over A point. Not as much, but C point is the advantage between B and C. B is wide open. There is no defense. If you're out in B point's territory, you're going to take damage. Unless maybe you're a very tiny destroyer, and this Fletcher's going to kill himself. Maybe not to me, but a friendly will. Yeah, this little island, that's it. That's all we got. And I should consider pulling back. I'm just openly firing like, haha, so easy. Except we're still neck and neck with them on ships, and they have 1 capture to our 2. Now, remember I was talking about how I haven't played this map and it's a brand new map, but I wanted to help out strategy-wise. Well, strategy is torpedoes suck between these two, C and B point. There's so much island clogging all of the lanes. The only time you can use torpedoes is if someone goes ballistic and goes through the gap. But at that point, who cares? You're throwing your ship away, or you're throwing your ship into a situation where they're going to take a lot of damage. I send my torpedoes early. He breaks the other way. Of course. He probably read it as the friendly battleship only had the option to ram the target to have a fair trade, and he avoids the torpedoes completely. And I'm detected by radar, which is great. And I'm trying to go for the nose because it's a low armor zone, and AP should help out. We're trying to kill the guy before he kills the friendly. Of course he kills the friendly. My luck, right? And I'm just sustaining too much damage, and I actually run into torpedoes that an enemy sent down that lane, and I was just too distracted by the prospects of a 16-gun battleship about to unload on me. What can I say? But I'm really interested in learning the map. I've played it a couple times where the enemies are using these islands, either the southern island or this northern island chain, to hide from the primary damage. They'll sit on 2 base capture for a long time, similar to this play where C point's more than adequate for the enemy team. They just make sure they can wear down targets that try and escape. And A point's always a death trap. Always a death trap. I haven't played a single game where one team hasn't been completely wiped out going for A point. It's just too narrow, right? It's incredibly dangerous. You have no escape. It's easy to make sure you have the range to engage the targets, right? We all know how insane A point looks. B point completely wide open. There's really not a good angle of protection provided by the islands. Generally, a lot of teams, both north and south, set up in and around C point. They've got a lot of good island angles, and they have narrow areas where they're protected by torpedoes, but they can see overhead because the islands are shallow enough. That has to be considered, and I think that's what people go for, right? They want to capture C point. So I wouldn't be surprised if most of you have found success by dominating the C area. I would just be curious to hear your thoughts on the map. I like it overall because it has different islands and different capture points. I haven't seen an A point that congested or C point that sort of angled wide open. I'm curious to see if the A point survives. You know, there could be a lot of complaints that it just discourages players to even go for it in the future because they learn that B and C are more viable. It's very interesting to see the progression of new content that's introduced. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time.